So this is a fun question. Which decade of wide receivers was the best? Broken into groups of four. Obviously they're not including. There's like a no Raymond Berry or Don Hudson here, but these are all guys who, obviously, should be in your top 20 to 25 receivers of all time. The new guys are hard to judge, and that's why for me, 2020s are out right out of the gate, because how can you really compare a Jefferson and a Chase who haven't been in the league, barely 5 years, with some of the legends, Hall of Famers that are above them? So while 20 years from now, could you make a case for the 2020s? I guess, but I'm still going to say, like, even long run, it's probably not going to work. So we're just going to knock them out right out of the gate. Obviously, you go to Jerry Rice, right? I think everyone universally thinks he's the best wide receiver to ever play the game, right? So if you look at Rice and then in his cohort here, Michael Irvin, Tim Brown, and Chris Carter, all Hall of Famers, all legendary, and like that's going to be the case for everyone that we talk about right now. I think on most lists of best wide receivers ever, you have Rice, and then the next couple could be random orders, but I think most people have Randy Moss as the second best receiver ever. I certainly do. Then is where, after that is where it gets really interesting for me, where this question becomes where I'm going to land on it, and you'll see what I mean in a second. I think T.O. and Marvin Harrison are in the conversation for top 10 to 15 receivers of all time. I think Torrey Holt is a level beneath that. The 2010s is where I really have my eye here. And this is probably, when I was in my prime as a football fan, the four guys in the 2000s, the four guys in the 2010s, Calvin Johnson, Julio Jones, Larry Fitzgerald, and Antonio Brown. If I were making my list of the top 10 wide receivers to ever play in the NFL, again, not counting Don Hudson, I think after Rice and Moss, my 3, 4, 5, 6, in some order, are all four of the 2010 guys. It seems shocking to say that out loud, but I really thought about it, and I think that's, for me, that's my 3 through 6 of all time. I think T.O. has a case. I think Marvin Harrison has a case. But then I go and try to do it one-on-one, and I like Larry Fitzgerald better than T.O. I like Calvin Johnson better than Marvin Harrison. And if I do that with each of them, I think T.O. versus Julio, I think there's a debate there. But off the top of my head, if I were doing 3, 4, 5, 6 in my top 10 ever, I think it's Antonio Brown, Calvin Johnson, Larry Fitzgerald, Julio Jones. I think that's probably it. Therefore, to tie it all together, 2010's best decade of wide receivers based on the four given in this chart.